The day the sky changed forever started like any other. Captain Elena Rodriguez of the International Space Station was completing her routine systems check when a proximity alert blared through the station's speakers. Her heart raced as she rushed to the observation module, her eyes widening at the sight before her. "Houston, we have a situation," Elena's voice crackled over the comms. "Multiple unidentified objects have just appeared in high Earth orbit. They're massive." The objects in question were sleek, obsidian structures that dwarfed any human-made satellite or spacecraft. Their surfaces seemed to absorb light, creating an eerie void against the backdrop of stars. As Elena watched, more of these monolithic ships materialized, as if stepping out of invisible doorways in space. Down on Earth, chaos erupted as the news spread. Social media exploded with grainy photos and shaky video footage of the alien armada. Governments scrambled to respond, and military forces worldwide were put on high alert. The possibility of hostile intent loomed large in everyone's minds. In Washington, D.C., President Olivia Chen sat in the Situation Room, surrounded by her top advisors and military brass. The tension in the air was palpable as they watched live feeds from various space agencies and listened to urgent reports from around the globe. Madam President, General Marcus Hawthorne, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, addressed her. "We've detected no aggressive movements from the alien vessels, but their sudden appearance and sheer number suggest they possess technology far beyond our current capabilities." President Chen nodded gravely. "What are our options, General?" "We're maintaining a defensive posture for now," Hawthorne replied. "Our missile defense systems are on high alert, and we've scrambled fighter jets as a precautionary measure. But frankly, if they decide to attack, we're not sure how effective our defenses would be." As the hours ticked by, a tense silence fell over the planet. The aliens made no move to communicate or engage. They simply hung in the sky, a silent reminder of humanity's sudden vulnerability. It was on the third day that everything changed. A message, broadcast simultaneously on every communication channel and device on Earth, echoed across the globe in a multitude of languages. "People of Earth, we are the Xar'khalin Empire. We come seeking new worlds to bring into our fold. Prepare to receive our emissaries. Resistance is inadvisable." The message was short, but its implications were enormous. Humanity was no longer alone in the universe, and their first encounter was with a seemingly unstoppable force that viewed Earth as just another conquest. In the following hours, world leaders convened an emergency United Nations session. As they debated their next move, a smaller alien craft detached from one of the massive ships and began its descent towards Earth. The chosen landing site was a neutral location, a wide, open field outside Geneva, Switzerland. As the sleek, silver craft touched down, a mix of diplomats, scientists, and military personnel waited with bated breath. The ship's hull seemed to liquefy, forming an opening from which three figures emerged. They were tall, easily 7 feet in height, with iridescent skin that shifted colors in the sunlight. Their faces were eerily human-like, save for their large, multifaceted eyes that gleamed with an unsettling intelligence. Dr. Aisha Patel, Earth's designated xenolinguist, stepped forward. "On behalf of humanity, we welcome you to Earth," she said, her voice steady despite the gravity of the moment. The central alien figure raised a hand in what seemed like a greeting. When it spoke, its voice was a melodious hum that somehow formed words in multiple languages simultaneously. "We are the Xar'khalins," it said. "I am Xar'khalin, Grand Emissary of the Empire. We have come to claim your world and its resources for the glory of our empire." A murmur of shock rippled through the assembled humans. Dr. Patel maintained her composure, though her voice betrayed a hint of steel. "With all due respect, Emissary Xar'khalin, Earth is not yours to claim. We are a sovereign planet with our own civilizations and rights." Xar'khalin's multifaceted eyes seemed to shimmer with amusement. "Rights? You speak of rights to us? The Xar'khalin Empire has conquered 1,000 worlds across the galaxy. Your planet is but a speck, right for the taking. We offer you a choice. Submit willingly and become part of our glorious empire, or face annihilation. The words hung in the air, heavy with threat. Dr. Patel glanced back at her colleagues, seeing the fear and determination mirrored in their eyes. We will need time to consult with our world leaders, she replied carefully. This decision affects all of humanity. Xar'khalin made a gesture that might have been a shrug. You have 3 of your Earth days to decide. Choose wisely. With that, the Xar'khalin emissaries retreated to their ship, leaving behind a stunned group of humans and a world on the brink of its greatest challenge. As the alien craft ascended back to its mothership, urgent messages flew across the globe. Emergency sessions were called, military strategies were debated, and the fate of humanity hung in the balance. In a secure bunker deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, President Chen addressed her crisis team. We need options, people. I refuse to believe that our only choices are submission or extinction. Dr. Victor Ramos, the Secretary of Science and Technology, cleared his throat. Madam President, there might be a third option. We've been working on a classified project that could potentially level the playing field. All eyes turned to him as he continued. It's called Project Prometheus, a revolutionary nanotechnology that could adapt to and potentially neutralize alien tech. It's not combat ready, but given the circumstances. President Chen's eyes narrowed. How soon can it be operational? With round-the-clock work and unlimited resources, maybe, just maybe, within the 3-day deadline, Dr. Ramos replied. The president nodded decisively. Make it happen, Doctor. In the meantime, we'll need to buy time and gather as much intelligence on these Xar'khalins as possible. As the meeting adjourned, a grim determination settled over the room. Humanity had always faced challenges and overcome them. Now, with the stakes higher than ever before, they would need to summon every ounce of ingenuity, courage, and resilience to face its cosmic threat. The clock was ticking, and the future of Earth hung in the balance. But unknown to the Xar'khalins, they were about to learn a crucial lesson. Never underestimate the human spirit when backed into a corner. A murmur of shock rippled through the assembled humans. Dr. Patel maintained her composure, though her voice betrayed a hint of steel. With all due respect, Emissary Xar'khalin, Earth is not yours to claim. We are a sovereign planet with our own civilizations and rights. Xar'khalin's multifaceted eyes seemed to shimmer with amusement. Rights? You speak of rights to us. The Xar'khalin Empire has conquered 1,000 worlds across the galaxy. Your planet is but a speck, right for the taking. We offer you a choice. Submit willingly and become part of our glorious empire, or face annihilation. The words hung in the air, heavy with threat. Dr. Patel glanced back at her colleagues, seeing the fear and determination mirrored in their eyes. We will need time to consult with our world leaders, she replied carefully. This decision affects all of humanity. Xar'khalin made a gesture that might have been a shrug. You have 3 of your Earth days to decide. Choose wisely. With that, the Xar'khalin emissaries retreated to their ship, leaving behind a stunned group of humans and a world on the brink of its greatest challenge. As the alien craft ascended back to its mothership, urgent messages flew across the globe. Emergency sessions were called, military strategies were debated, and the fate of humanity hung in the balance. In a secure bunker deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, President Chen addressed her crisis team. We need options, people. I refuse to believe that our only choices are submission or extinction. Dr. Victor Ramos, the Secretary of Science and Technology, cleared his throat. Madam President, there might be a third option. We've been working on a classified project that could potentially level the playing field. All eyes turned to him as he continued. It's called Project Prometheus, a revolutionary nanotechnology that could adapt to and potentially neutralize alien tech. It's not combat ready, but given the circumstances. President Chen's eyes narrowed. How soon can it be operational? With round-the-clock work and unlimited resources, maybe, just maybe, within the 3-day deadline, Dr. Ramos replied. The president nodded decisively. Make it happen, Doctor. In the meantime, we'll need to buy time and gather as much intelligence on these Xar'khalinians as possible. As the meeting adjourned, a grim determination settled over the room. Humanity had always faced challenges and overcome them. Now, with the stakes higher than ever before, they would need to summon every ounce of ingenuity, courage, and resilience to face its cosmic threat. The clock was ticking, and the future of Earth hung in the balance. But unknown to the Xar'khalinians, they were about to learn a crucial lesson: never underestimate the human spirit when backed into a corner. As dawn broke on the second day since the Xar'khalinian ultimatum, an air of tense anticipation hung over the planet. In capitals across the globe, leaders huddled with their advisors, weighing impossible choices. The streets of major cities were eerily quiet, with many choosing to stay home, glued to news channels for any updates on humanity's precarious situation. In Beijing, Premier Lo Wei paced in his office, phone pressed to his ear. Yes, I understand the gravity of the situation, he said, his voice taut with stress. But we cannot simply roll over and let these aliens strip our planet bare. Similar conversations echoed in government buildings worldwide. In Moscow, President Anastasia Volkov convened an emergency meeting of her Security Council. We must present a united front, she insisted, her steely gaze sweeping across the room. If we show any weakness, any division, the Xar'khalinians will exploit it. Meanwhile, in a nondescript facility buried deep in the Nevada desert, Dr. Samantha Chen hunched over a microscope, her eyes burning from lack of sleep. Project Prometheus, once a speculative research endeavor, had become humanity's last, best hope. How's it coming, Sam? Dr. Victor Ramos asked, entering the lab with 2 cups of strong coffee. Samantha straightened, accepting the coffee gratefully. We're making progress, but it's slow. The nanotech is responding to our commands, but programming it to interface with alien technology we've barely seen, it's like trying to pick a lock blindfolded. Victor nodded grimly. Keep at it. You're our ace in the hole. As scientists raced against time, military strategists around the world grappled with the daunting task of preparing for a war unlike any in human history. In the Pentagon, General Hawthorne presided over a tense briefing. Our conventional weapons may be ineffective against their technology, he stated bluntly. We're looking at asymmetric warfare on a global scale. Guerrilla tactics, cyber attacks, anything to slow them down if they invade. Back in Washington, President Chen prepared to address the nation. As makeup artists fussed over her appearance, she mentally rehearsed her speech. The world needed hope, but she couldn't sugarcoat the dire nature of their situation. The cameras rolled, and President Chen looked directly into the lens, her expression resolute. My fellow Americans, citizens of Earth, we face an unprecedented threat to our very existence. The Xar'khalinian Empire has given us an ultimatum: surrender or face annihilation. I stand before you today to say that we will do neither. A ripple of surprise went through the off-camera staff. This wasn't the measured, diplomatic response many had expected. Throughout our history, Chen continued, her voice gaining strength, humanity has faced seemingly insurmountable challenges. We've weathered ice ages, plagues, world wars. Each time, we've emerged stronger, more united. This threat from beyond the stars is our greatest challenge yet, but I have faith in the ingenuity, the courage, and the indomitable spirit of the human race. As Chen's speech was broadcast globally, reactions varied. Some felt a surge of pride and determination, while others feared she was dooming them all. But in secret facilities and government war rooms, her words galvanized those working tirelessly to find a way out of this impossible situation. In Geneva, Dr. Aisha Patel and her team of diplomats prepared for another meeting with the Xar'khalinian emissaries. Their goal was to buy time, to learn more about their would-be conquerors, and perhaps find a weakness to exploit. As the alien ship descended once more, Aisha steeled herself. The fate of billions rested on her ability to navigate this perilous diplomatic minefield. As Xar'khalin emerged, flanked by two other Xar'khalians, their iridescent skin seemed to pulse with barely contained energy. "Have you come to accept the inevitable?" the alien emissary asked, its multifaceted eyes gleaming. Aisha stepped forward, her posture straight and proud. "We've come to negotiate. Surely, a civilization as advanced as yours can see the value in peaceful coexistence." Xar'khalin made a sound that might have been a laugh. "Negotiate? You have nothing to offer that we cannot simply take. Your technology is primitive, your defenses laughable. Why should we negotiate when domination is so much simpler?" Aisha's mind raced, searching for an angle. "Because you don't know us," she said, a hint of steel entering her voice. "Humans are resourceful, adaptable. We've survived ice ages and asteroid impacts. We've split the atom and walked on our moon. If you force this conflict, you may find us a far more formidable opponent than you expect." For a moment, something like doubt flickered in Xar'khalin's eyes, but it passed quickly, replaced by cold determination. Bold words, human, but they changed nothing. "You have one more day to submit, or we will demonstrate the true might of the Xar'khalian Empire." As the aliens departed, Aisha felt a chill run down her spine. She had seen something in that moment of doubt, not fear, exactly, but perhaps a hint of uncertainty. It wasn't much, but in their desperate situation, it was something to cling to. Back in Nevada, Samantha's team had achieved a breakthrough. "We've managed to create a basic interface between our nanotech and a sample of alien material," she reported excitedly to Dr. Ramos. "It's crude, but it's a start." Victor's eyes lit up. "That's fantastic news, Sam, but can we weaponize it in time?" Samantha's expression turned grim. "Honestly, I don't know. We're working as fast as we can, but we're talking about technology centuries beyond our own. It's like trying to defeat a modern army with stone tools." As the second day drew to a close, tension reached a fever pitch. Military forces worldwide were on high alert, civilians stockpiled supplies, and governments prepared for the worst. In orbit, Captain Elena Rodriguez watched the alien fleet from the International Space Station. The Xar'khalian ships hung motionless, like obsidian knives poised to strike. "Whatever's coming," she murmured to herself, "it's going to happen soon." As if in response to her words, several of the alien ships began to move, descending slowly towards Earth. Panic erupted in cities across the globe as the massive vessels took up positions over major population centers. In the White House Situation Room, President Chen received the news with grim determination. "It seems the Xar'khalians are done waiting," she said, turning to her advisors. "It's time to put our plans into action. May God help us all." As the alien ships loomed ever closer, humanity stood on the precipice of a war that would determine the fate of their species. The Xar'khalians thought they faced an easy conquest, but they were about to learn that humans, when pushed to the brink, were capable of extraordinary things. The stage was set for a battle that would echo across the stars. The battle for Earth had begun. As the Xar'khalian ships descended through Earth's atmosphere, humanity's response was swift and desperate. Air forces around the world scrambled their jets, knowing full well they were outmatched but determined to put up a fight. On the ground, civilians rushed to evacuation centers or huddled in makeshift shelters, fear and defiance mingling in equal measure. In the depths of the Nevada facility, Dr. Samantha Chen worked feverishly, her fingers flying over holographic displays as she fine-tuned the Prometheus nanotech. "We're out of time," she muttered, her eyes bloodshot from lack of sleep. "It has to work now, ready or not." Dr. Victor Ramos burst into the lab, his usual composure shattered. "Sam, we've got reports of Xar'khalian ground forces deploying in major cities. How close are we?" Samantha straightened, a mix of exhaustion and determination etched on her face. "We're as ready as we'll ever be. The nanotech can interface with and potentially disrupt Xar'khalian tech, but it's untested in real-world conditions. And the delivery system is experimental at best. Victor finished for her. But it's all we've got. I'm giving the go-ahead. Across the globe, hidden launch sites activated. Missiles, not loaded with conventional warheads, but with canisters of the Prometheus nanotech, prepared for launch. It was a desperate gambit, one that could either save humanity or hasten its doom. In New York City, the first wave of Xar'khalin ground troops materialized in Central Park. They were imposing figures, clad in armor that seemed to shift and flow like liquid metal. Energy weapons hummed to life as they advanced, met by the determined but outgunned forces of the NYPD and National Guard. Similar scenes played out in London, Tokyo, Moscow, and dozens of other major cities. The Xar'khalins' superior technology allowed them to bypass traditional defenses, appearing at will in the heart of urban centers. From her command center in Washington, President Chen watched the unfolding chaos with a heavy heart. "We can't wait any longer," she said, turning to General Hawthorne. "Launch the Prometheus missiles." Across the world, salvos opened and missiles streaked into the sky. The Xar'khalins, focused on their ground assault, were caught off guard by this unexpected counterattack. In orbit, Captain Elena Rodriguez watched in awe as the missiles asked towards the alien motherships. "Come on," she whispered, her hands clenched tight. "Work, damn you." The missiles detonated in brilliant flashes of light, releasing clouds of microscopic nanobots. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, slowly at first, but with gathering speed, the nanotech began to interface with the alien ships. On the ground, the effects were more immediate. Xar'khalin weapons sputtered and died, their armor lost its fluidity, becoming rigid and brittle. Confusion spread through the alien ranks as their technological advantage suddenly evaporated. In Central Park, a young National Guard sergeant named Michael Torres watched in disbelief as the seemingly invincible alien attackers stumbled, their weapons going dark. "Now's our chance," he shouted, rallying his troops. "Push them back." Similar scenes unfolded worldwide as human forces, bolstered by this unexpected turn of events, began to push back against the invaders. The Xar'khalins, accustomed to easy conquests, found themselves facing a tenacious and now emboldened enemy. Back in Nevada, Samantha and her team monitored the situation with bated breath. "It's working," she breathed, watching as data streamed in from around the globe. The nanotech is adapting, learning from each encounter with Xar'khalin tech. But their elation was short-lived. Alarms blared as new data poured in. "The Xar'khalins are adapting," one of Samantha's assistants called out. "They're implementing some kind of countermeasure." Indeed, on battlefields across the world, the aliens began to rally. Their weapons flickered back to life, though not with the same potency as before. Their armor regained some of its fluidity, but remained compromised. In orbit, the massive Xar'khalin ships shuddered, great arcs of energy coursing across their hulls as they fought against the invasive nanotech. Several smaller vessels lost power completely, drifting lifelessly in space. On the bridge of the Xar'khalin flagship, Grand Admiral Xar'khalin seethed with rage. "Impossible," he growled, his multifaceted eyes flashing dangerously. "These primitives cannot defeat us. Prepare the world breaker." Back on Earth, as the battle raged on, Dr. Victor Ramos received an urgent communique from a listening post in Antarctica. "My God," he whispered, his face paling. "Sam, they're powering up some kind of superweapon. Our sensors are off the charts." Samantha's mind raced. The nanotech had exceeded their wildest expectations, but it wasn't enough. They needed something more, something the Xar'khalins wouldn't expect. Then, an idea struck her. It was risky, potentially catastrophic, but in their desperate situation, it might be their only hope. "We need to dial it up to 11, she said, her fingers already flying over the controls. "We're going to push the nanotech beyond its limits, create a chain reaction that will spread through their entire fleet." Victor's eyes widened. "Sam, the energy release from something like that could..." I know, she cut him off, but it's our only shot. As Samantha worked, implementing changes to the nanotech's base code, battles continued to rage across the globe. In the skies above London, RAF pilots engaged in desperate dogfights with Xar'khalin fighters. In the streets of Tokyo, civilians joined soldiers in guerrilla attacks against alien patrols. And high above, in the cold vacuum of space, Captain Elena Rodriguez made a fateful decision. We're going to ram them, she announced to her stunned crew. The International Space Station, humanity's foothold in space, would become a weapon of last resort. As the ISS began its suicidal descent towards the largest Xar'khalin ship, Samantha completed her modifications. It stung, she said, her voice hoarse. Initiating upload now. Across the world, the Prometheus nanotech received its new instructions. For a moment, everything seemed to pause, as if the world was holding its breath. Then chaos erupted. Xar'khalin ships in orbit began to glow, energy arcing between them in great, crackling webs. On the ground, alien weapons and armor sparked and sizzled, many exploding outright. The Xar'khalin flagship, target of the ISS kamikaze run, shuddered as the nanotech-infused station impacted its hull. The chain reaction Samantha had initiated spread like wildfire, leaping from ship to ship. In New York, Moscow, Beijing, and 100 other battlefields, human forces watched in awe as their alien opponents literally fell apart before their eyes, their much-vaunted technology turning against them. And in orbit, the Xar'khalin fleet, once so menacing, erupted in a spectacular light show as ship after ship succumbed to the supercharged nanotech. As the light faded and the dust settled, a stunned silence fell across the planet. Then, slowly at first, but with gathering strength, shears began to rise from every corner of the globe. Against all odds, humanity had prevailed. The Xar'khalin invasion, which had threatened to end human civilization, had been turned back. But as world leaders gathered to assess the aftermath and plan for the future, one question loomed large. What would humanity do with the incredible power they had unleashed? The war was over, but a new era of human history was just beginning. The days following humanity's unexpected victory were a blur of jubilation, confusion, and frantic activity. As the dust settled on battlefields around the world, the true scale of what had been accomplished began to sink in. In New York City, Sergeant Michael Torres stood amidst the rubble of what had once been a thriving neighborhood. Collapsed Xar'khalin war machines littered the streets, their once fearsome weapons now nothing more than scrap metal. "We did it," he muttered, still scarcely able to believe it. "We actually did it." But the victory had come at a steep cost. Cities lay in ruins, millions were displaced, and the global economy was in shambles. The work of rebuilding would take years, perhaps decades. In Washington, D.C., President Chen addressed a joint session of Congress, her voice echoing through the chamber. "We have won a great victory," she declared, "but our challenges are far from over. We must rebuild, we must heal, and we must prepare. For we now know that we are not alone in this universe, and not all who dwell among the stars come in peace." As she spoke, teams of scientists and engineers around the world were already hard at work, studying the remnants of Xar'khalin technology. The nanotech that had saved humanity had also provided an unprecedented opportunity to leap forward technologically. In the Nevada facility, now expanded and bustling of activity, Dr. Samantha Chen led the research efforts. "The potential applications are staggering," she explained to a group of wide-eyed government officials. "Medical breakthroughs, clean energy, space travel, the Prometheus nanotech could revolutionize every aspect of our lives." But not everyone viewed these developments with unbridled optimism. In the UN Security Council, heated debates raged over the control and deployment of the new technology. "We cannot allow any one nation to monopolize this power," the Russian ambassador argued forcefully. "The nanotech must be placed under international control." "And who decides how it's used?" The Chinese representative shot back. We all saw how devastating it can be as a weapon. In the wrong hands, it could destroy us all. As diplomats argued, the military wasn't taking any chances. General Hawthorne oversaw the establishment of a new branch of the armed forces, the Cosmic Defense Initiative, CDI. "We kicked the Xar'khalins off our planet," he told his staff, "but they're still out there. And there may be other threats we don't even know about yet. We need to be ready." The CDI's first major project was ambitious, a fleet of Earth's first true warships designed to operate in deep space. Incorporating reversed-engineered Xar'khalin tech and powered by nanotech reactors, these ships would be humanity's first line of defense against any future extraterrestrial threats. 6 months after the invasion, the first of these ships, the EDF Prometheus, was ready for its maiden voyage. Captain Elena Rodriguez, hailed as a hero for her role in the ISS's final mission, was given command. As Elena stood on the bridge of the Prometheus, gazing out at the stars, she felt a mix of excitement and trepidation. "Take us out, helm," she ordered. "Let's see what she can do." The Prometheus glided out of its orbital dock, its sleek hull gleaming in the sunlight. As it accelerated away from Earth, humanity took its first real step into the cosmic arena. But even as humanity reached for the stars, trouble was brewing closer to home. In the aftermath of the invasion, a new movement had begun to gain traction. Calling themselves the Purists, they argued against the integration of alien technology into human society. "We defeated the Xar'khalins using human ingenuity," their leader, a charismatic speaker named Marcus Graves, proclaimed at a rally. "Now we're letting their corrupt influence seep into every aspect of our lives. We must remain pure, remain human." The Purist movement grew rapidly, tapping into people's fears and uncertainties in the post-invasion world. Protests erupted outside research facilities, and there were even reports of attacks on scientists working with alien tech. Dr. Victor Ramos found himself increasingly concerned. "We can't let fear dictate our future," he argued in a tense meeting with government officials. "The nanotech isn't just a weapon, it's a tool that could solve some of humanity's greatest challenges." But even as humanity grappled with these internal conflicts, a new threat was emerging from the depths of space. On the fringes of the solar system, long-range sensors detected an anomaly. At first, scientists thought it might be a comet or a rogue planet. But as more data came in, a chilling reality set in. "It's a ship," Elena reported from the bridge of the Prometheus, which had been sent to investigate, "and it's big. Bigger than anything the Xar'khalins had." As the massive vessel approached, it broadcasted a message across all frequencies in perfect English. "People of Earth, we are the Nexus, and we have come to pass judgment. Your defeat of the Xar'khalins has not gone unnoticed. You now possess technology beyond your understanding, beyond your right. Surrender it or face extinction." Back on Earth, President Chen received the news with grim determination. "Seems the universe isn't done testing us yet," she said, turning to her advisors. "But humanity didn't come this far to back down now. Send word to Captain Rodriguez. The Prometheus is to engage the alien vessel. And get me Dr. Chen. We're going to need every trick up our sleeve for this one." As the Prometheus maneuvered into position, poised for humanity's first interstellar battle, the fate of Earth once again hung in the balance. The victory over the Xar'khalins had been hard won, but it was becoming clear that it was only the beginning of humanity's struggles on the galactic stage. With determination in her eyes, Captain Rodriguez gave the order. "All hands to battle stations. Let's show these Nexus what humanity is really capable of." As the Prometheus's weapons powered up, humanity prepared to fight once more for its right to exist among the stars. The vastness of space seemed to hold its breath as the EDF Prometheus faced off against the colossal Nexus vessel. Captain Elena Rodriguez stood on the bridge, her posture rigid, eyes fixed on the tactical display. "Status report," she barked, her voice steady despite the tension crackling through the air. "Shields at maximum, weapons hot," her tactical officer responded. But Captain, that thing is at least 10 times our size. Our scans can't even penetrate its outer hull. Elena's jaw tightened. Size isn't everything. We've got human ingenuity and Xar'khalin tech on our side. Let's see what this ship can really do. Back on Earth, in the newly established Cosmic Defense Command Center, Dr. Samantha Chen worked feverishly alongside a team of the world's brightest minds. They pored over data streaming in from the Prometheus, searching for any weakness in the Nexus ship. "There's something odd about their energy signature," Samantha muttered, her eyes darting across holographic displays. "It's almost as if... Wait, that's it." She turned to Dr. Ramos, excitement breaking through her exhaustion. "Their technology, it's not just advanced, it's a hodgepodge. They've cobbled together tech from multiple species, including the Xar'khalinians." Victor's eyes widened as he grasped the implications. "Which means our nanotech might be able to interface with at least part of their systems." "Exactly," Samantha nodded, already turning back to her console. "We need to get this information to the Prometheus, and fast." In orbit, the battle had begun in earnest. The Nexus ship unleashed a barrage of energy weapons, each blast powerful enough to vaporize a small moon. The Prometheus weaved and dodged, its nanotech-enhanced engines pushing the limits of physics. "Return fire," Elena ordered. The Prometheus's main cannon, a marvel of human and alien engineering, lit up the void. The blast struck the Nexus ship, but seemed to dissipate harmlessly against its shields. "No effect, Captain," the tactical officer reported grimly. Elena gritted her teeth. They were outgunned and outmatched. But she'd be damned if she'd go down without a fight. Just then, a priority transmission came through from Earth. Elena's eyes widened as she absorbed the information. "Engineering," she shouted into the ship's comm. "I need you to reconfigure the nanotech deployment systems. We're going to give these Nexus bastards a taste of their own medicine." As the Prometheus continued its deadly dance with the Nexus ship, its crew worked frantically to implement the new strategy. It was a long shot, but it was all they had. On Earth, tensions were reaching a boiling point. The purist movement, led by Marcus Graves, had taken to the streets in major cities worldwide. "This is the result of meddling with alien tech," Graves shouted to a sea of angry faces. "We should have destroyed it all when we had the chance. Now we face judgment from the stars." But even as the protests raged, others rallied to humanity's cause. In labs and workshops around the globe, scientists and engineers worked tirelessly, pushing the boundaries of the newly acquired technology. In orbit, the battle had reached a critical juncture. The Prometheus was battered, its shields on the verge of collapse, but they had managed to close the distance to the Nexus ship. "Now," Elena commanded, "deploy the nanotech." A swarm of microscopic robots, enhanced with the latest breakthroughs from Earth, surged towards the Nexus vessel. For a heart-stopping moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then suddenly, the massive ship shuddered. "It's working," Elena's science officer exclaimed. "The nanotech is interfacing with their Xar'khalin-based systems. We're in." The tables had turned. As the nanotech spread through the Nexus ship, its weapons fell silent, its shields flickered and died. The once mighty vessel hung impotent in space. "Open a channel," Elena ordered, a grim smile on her face. "I think it's time we had a chat with our would-be judges." The face that appeared on the view screen was not what anyone expected. The being was humanoid, but with a patchwork appearance, as if pieces from a dozen different species had been stitched together. "How?" The being sputtered, its multiple eyes wide with disbelief. "This is impossible. You're primitives." Elena leaned forward, her voice steel. "We're humanity, and we just proved we're a lot more than you bargained for. Now, let's talk about that judgment of yours." In the hours that followed, a startling truth emerged. The Nexus, for all their bluster, were not the advanced civilization they pretended to be. They were scavengers, roaming the galaxy and stealing technology from other species. They had assumed Earth would be an easy target after the Xar'khalin invasion, ripe for plundering. Instead, they had run headlong into a humanity that had not only survived its trial by fire, but emerged stronger for it. As news of the victory spread across Earth, celebrations erupted. The purest protests quieted, at least for the moment, in the face of this triumph of human-alien cooperation. In Washington, President Chen addressed the world once more. "Today, we have reaffirmed our place among the stars," she declared. "We have shown that humanity will not be cowed, will not be judged, and will not be found wanting. The path ahead may be difficult, but we face it united, with the combined strength of human determination and the technology we have rightfully claimed." As the Prometheus limped back to Earth, towing the disabled Nexus ship behind it, Captain Elena Rodriguez allowed herself a moment of reflection. They had faced 2 alien threats and emerged victorious, but she couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning. Out there in the vast expanse of the cosmos, who knew what other challenges awaited? But whatever came, Elena was certain of one thing: humanity would face it head-on with all the courage, ingenuity, and determination that had brought them this far. The stars had once seemed out of reach. Now they were humanity's new frontier, and humanity was ready to claim its place among them. 1 year after the defeat of the Nexus, Earth was a planet transformed. The skylines of major cities now featured sleek, nanotech-enhanced buildings that seemed to defy gravity. Clean energy, derived from Xar'khalin technology, had made fossil fuels obsolete almost overnight. And in low Earth orbit, a growing network of space stations and shipyards heralded humanity's expanding presence beyond their home world. At the United Nations headquarters in New York, now rebuilt and gleaming with new technology, representatives from every nation gathered for a historic summit. The agenda: the formation of a unified Earth government to guide humanity's path among the stars. President Chen, now serving as Earth's chief diplomat, stood at the podium. "We stand at a crossroads," she began, her voice carrying to every corner of the globe via advanced comm systems. "The threats we've faced, the challenges we've overcome, they've shown us that we are stronger together than we ever were apart. It's time to take the next step in our evolution as a species." The debate that followed was heated. Old rivalries and suspicions didn't disappear overnight, but the shared experiences of the past year, the terror of invasion, the triumph of victory, the wonder of new discoveries, had forged a bond between nations that proved stronger than their differences. As the final votes were tallied, a cheer went up in the assembly hall. The resolution had passed. The United Earth Alliance was born. Meanwhile, out in the asteroid belt, the EDF Prometheus was on a mission of exploration. Captain Elena Rodriguez stood on the bridge, marveling at how far they'd come in just a year. "Captain," her science officer called out, excitement in his voice. "We're picking up an anomalous signal from the outer system. It looks like a wormhole is forming." Elena's heart raced. They'd theorized about the possibility of stable wormholes, but to actually encounter one. "Take us in for a closer look," she ordered, "but maintain safe distance. We don't know what might come through." As the Prometheus approached, the wormholes stabilized, and through it came a ship unlike any they'd seen before. It was organic in appearance, more like a living creature than a vessel. Before Elena could give any orders, a transmission came through. The face that appeared on the screen was alien, but there was an undeniable intelligence in its eyes. "Greetings, people of Earth," the being said, its voice melodious and calming. "We are the Astrani. We've been watching your progress with great interest. Your victories over the Xar'khalinians and the Nexus have not gone unnoticed. We believe you may be ready to join the Galactic Concord." Elena's mind reeled. A Galactic community. It was beyond their wildest dreams. I'll need to consult with my superiors," she managed to say. The Astrani nodded understanding. "Of course, we'll await your response. But know this, the road ahead will not be easy. There are wonders beyond imagining in this galaxy, but also dangers that would chill your blood. The choice to step onto the galactic stage is yours alone to make. As the transmission ended, Elena sat back in her chair, a mix of excitement and trepidation washing over her. She knew that the decision that lay ahead would shape the future of humanity for generations to come. Back on Earth, in the labs of the Cosmic Defense Initiative, Dr. Samantha Chen was making a breakthrough of her own. She stared at her screens in disbelief, running the simulations again and again. "Victor," she called out to Dr. Ramos, "I've done it. I've cracked the code on controlled nanotech evolution. With this, we could adapt to any environment, any technology we encounter out there." Victor's eyes widened as he grasped the implications. "Sam, do you realize what this means? We could explore not just our galaxy, but potentially others. We could become a true spacefaring civilization," Samantha finished for him, awe in her voice. As news of both the Astrani contact and Samantha's breakthrough spread, a sense of destiny swept across the planet. Humanity stood on the brink of a new age, one filled with both promise and peril. In the streets of cities worldwide, people gathered to watch the stars, wondering what secrets and adventures lay hidden in their twinkling light. The fear that had gripped the world during the invasions had been replaced by a burning curiosity, a desire to reach out and touch the cosmos. Marcus Graves, the former leader of the Purist movement, stood in one such crowd in Times Square. He looked up at the sky, then at the faces around him, faces filled with hope and determination. Slowly, he removed the Purist badge from his jacket and let it fall to the ground. Perhaps, he thought, it was time to embrace this new future rather than fear it. In Washington, now the capital of the United Earth Alliance, President Chen prepared to address the world once more. But this time, she knew her words would reach beyond Earth, out to the Prometheus, to the waiting Astrani, and possibly to unknown civilizations beyond. She took a deep breath, then began. "Citizens of Earth and fellow sentients of the galaxy, we stand at the dawn of a new era, an era of exploration, of discovery, of challenges beyond our imagining. The path ahead will not be easy. We may face dangers we cannot yet comprehend, but we will face them together, with courage, with ingenuity, and with the unbreakable spirit that has carried us this far. To the Astrani, and to all who may be listening among the stars, I say this: humanity accepts your invitation. We step onto the galactic stage not as conquerors, not as victims, but as equals. We come in peace, in the spirit of cooperation and mutual understanding. But know this, we will defend our right to exist, our right to grow and explore, with every fiber of our being. To the people of Earth, I say, our journey is just beginning. The stars await us. Let us go forth with hope in our hearts and wonder in our eyes, for we are no longer alone in this vast cosmos. We are part of something greater, something magnificent. We are the children of Earth and the heirs to the galaxy. Together, we will write the next chapter in the great story of humanity, a story that will echo across the stars for eons to come." As Chen's words rang out across the planet and beyond, humanity looked to the future with a mix of excitement and determination. They had faced invasion and judgment, and had emerged stronger. Now they were ready to take their place among the stars. The Xar'khalinians had thought humans were easy to defeat. They were wrong. And in proving them wrong, humanity had opened the door to a future brighter than they had ever dared to dream. The adventure was just beginning. Before Elena could give any orders, a transmission came through. The face that appeared on the screen was alien, but there was an undeniable intelligence in its eyes. "Greetings, people of Earth," the being said, its voice melodious and calming. "We are the Astrani. We've been watching your progress with great interest. Your victories over the Xar'khalinians and the Nexus have not gone unnoticed. We believe you may be ready to join the Galactic Concord." Elena's mind reeled. A galactic community. It was beyond their wildest dreams. I'll need to consult with my superiors," she managed to say. The Astrani nodded understanding. "Of course, We will await your response. But know this, the road ahead will not be easy. There are wonders beyond imagining in this galaxy, but also dangers that would chill your blood. The choice to step onto the galactic stage is yours alone to make. As the transmission ended, Elena sat back in her chair, a mix of excitement and trepidation washing over her. She knew that the decision that lay ahead would shape the future of humanity for generations to come. Back on Earth, in the labs of the Cosmic Defense Initiative, Dr. Samantha Chen was making a breakthrough of her own. She stared at her screens in disbelief, running the simulations again and again. "Victor," she called out to Dr. Ramos. "I've done it. I've cracked the code on controlled nanotech evolution. With this, we could adapt to any environment, any technology we encounter out there." Victor's eyes widened as he grasped the implications. "Sam, do you realize what this means? We could explore not just our galaxy, but potentially others. We could become a true spacefaring civilization," Samantha finished for him, awe in her voice. As news of both the Astrani contact and Samantha's breakthrough spread, a sense of destiny swept across the planet. Humanity stood on the brink of a new age, one filled with both promise and peril. In the streets of cities worldwide, people gathered to watch the stars, wondering what secrets and adventures lay hidden in their twinkling light. The fear that had gripped the world during the invasions had been replaced by a burning curiosity, a desire to reach out and touch the cosmos. Marcus Graves, the former leader of the Purist movement, stood in one such crowd in Times Square. He looked up at the sky, then at the faces around him, faces filled with hope and determination. Slowly, he removed the Purist badge from his jacket and let it fall to the ground. Perhaps, he thought, it was time to embrace its new future rather than fear it. In Washington, now the capital of the United Earth Alliance, President Chen prepared to address the world once more. But this time, she knew her words would reach beyond Earth, out to the Prometheus, to the waiting Astrani, and possibly to unknown civilizations beyond. She took a deep breath, then began. "Citizens of Earth and fellow sentients of the galaxy, we stand at the dawn of a new era. An era of exploration, of discovery, of challenges beyond our imagining. The path ahead will not be easy. We may face dangers we cannot yet comprehend, but we will face them together, with courage, with ingenuity, and with the unbreakable spirit that has carried us this far. To the Astrani, and to all who may be listening among the stars, I say this: humanity accepts your invitation. We step onto the galactic stage not as conquerors, not as victims, but as equals. We come in peace, in the spirit of cooperation and mutual understanding. But know this, we will defend our right to exist, our right to grow and explore, with every fiber of our being. To the people of Earth, I say, our journey is just beginning. The stars await us. Let us go forth with hope in our hearts and wonder in our eyes, for we are no longer alone in this vast cosmos. We are part of something greater, something magnificent. We are the children of Earth and the heirs to the galaxy. Together, we will write the next chapter in the great story of humanity, a story that will echo across the stars for eons to come." As Chen's words rang out across the planet and beyond, humanity looked to the future with a mix of excitement and determination. They had faced invasion and judgment, and had emerged stronger. Now they were ready to take their place among the stars. The Xar'khalins had thought humans were easy to defeat. They were wrong. And in proving them wrong, humanity had opened the door to a future brighter than they had ever dared to dream. The adventure was just beginning.